So good morning, guys. So today we're going to start with our journey in understanding about the DevOps and CloudOps foundational. So that is the session we're going to start. So this will be kind of a foundational session. Actually, foundational session means suppose somebody want to really enter into the DevOps or they want to enter into the CloudOps. So what are the basic essential which they are required to know, and where they can start their journey in learning the DevOps and cloud, so that they can get or they can fetch a job in this like in this domain. So that's what our idea is all about. So that's the reason I thought that let me have a session on this actually, because from many days like a lot of people from our group as well as even from the outside, right, whoever are watching my channel, what I got to know, very basic thing, that they have a lot of issues or they're having a lot of problem in understanding a lot of basic stuff actually. So even like many of you have reached me in in understanding and knowing like what exactly a web server is all about, or what is all about the application server. Some people also ask me like how thing what is something like a message queues and all, right? Some people have no, they are reached me out. So when I was trying to understand their queries, and when I was trying to understand even what kind of a knowledge is lagging behind, so I got to know very clear that many people don't have a fundamental knowledge on some of the things actually. So it is always better that whenever you want to get into learning DevOps or in cloud, actually, all your fundamentals and all your the basic ideas or fundamental knowledge should be cleared actually. So unless and until those fundamentals are not clear, I think if you learn DevOps, right? DevOps learning is all about learning tools itself, right? So you have to learn many of the tools actually, and many of the tools in learning many of the DevOps tools. Usually, you'll come across with a lot of terminologies, right? A lot of terminologies will come across, a lot of concepts will come across. So there, what happened? That some people, though they might be hearing those terminologies a lot, actually, but if you ask them in a very in a very basic way what exactly, they even can't define what exactly that concept is terminology is all about. So I have seen that actually in many people. So even like a lot of people whom I discussed, they requested me, sir, can you take a session on this, it is like a essential DevOps concept, or else foundational classes, we need it like that. So that's the reason I was thinking for many days to have this session, and let's have this session. Like, what is my plan is that actually that in the DevOps and CloudOps foundation session, right? I will be covering around 10 to 12 sessions actually. So that is my idea. So I think around 7 to 8 sessions I need to cover the, or it could be more on DevOps fundamentals. What are things which we need to know, or you can call it a foundation also, foundation sessions, and some 5 sessions.
Rajesh sir, your voice is not there.
Hello.
Yeah, your voice is not there.
How come, sir? Are you able to hear me?
Yeah, now little bit cracking, but not clear voice.
This is very insane. Guys, now can you able to hear me?
Yeah, sir, it's
Yeah,
bit
Rajesh,
clear
it's
now.
clearly audible.
Yeah, it is clear.
There is some issues happening, sir. Sorry, I'm very sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, it's okay, sir. Yeah, yes,
sure.
continue. Please continue.
Guys, please confirm. Please, interrupt in between if you are losing the audio or video. Please confirm me.
Yes,
Okay.
yes,
In
sir.
between somewhere, if there is a lag of some 10 seconds or something, like, let me know, sir. We are not able to hear you. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Sorry, there is some issue is there. I will fix this issue by today, but let's no continue our journey. Okay,
Yes,
so
sir.
what I was trying to say, I think if somebody have missed what I said earlier, so I said that for us to enter into the DevOps or into the cloud, domain, right? We need to have some fundamental or the basic knowledge. We need to have it actually before you start learning on any tools or technology. So, what is my idea behind with this session is that to just cover up all those basics aspect actually. Like for example, if you come across with the DevOps, right? Usually we'll come across with a lot of terminologies. Like for example, you will come across with the application architecture, right? Many of you might have asked me, so what is an application architecture is all about? Right? Architecture is all about. Some people have asked me about, sir, what about the servers actually? For example, you might say that, sir, we need to learn about what is a web server, what is a application server, right? What is a database server? So those are very, very fundamental or basic things which, people have asked me a lot of question on this actually. So what is the idea behind is that actually to cover up all these basic aspects so that you are fundamentally you're very clear, and then we can proceed in learning the other things, right? So in the I will be covering around 8 sessions or 8 to 10 sessions. I don't know, it might be no more than 8 sessions. And in the cloud, actually I will be covering the cloud aspect, the fundamental. I'll be covering 4 to 5 sessions where I'll be teaching you all, explaining about all the fundamental aspects of the cloud, why cloud came to the picture, right? What was the necessity of getting into cloud, and how we are slowly we are moving to the cloud. So those fundamental things, plus what are the terminologies we are using, right? There we will be covering all those things in those 5 sessions. Once this is covered, guys, so what is my idea next is that actually to start the Azure cloud. That is my idea is all about actually. So I could have started the Azure cloud today itself, but I feel like, yeah, we need to cover this foundation session so that people are good enough to understand the further sessions, whatever I take. So is it fine, guys? Does it make sense for you all?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Good. Okay. Now, before I start with the DevOps foundational session, right? I want to, speak something about, the career plan or the career growth actually, because I've seen that many people have messaged me or called me, even emailed me, okay, regarding so how I have to, build up my career in this, in this DevOps and the cloud platform, or what are things which I need to know. A lot of people, from fresher to the experienced people, they have consulted me, they have asked me the same question. And a very, very common thing which I'm seeing is that actually people also ask me like how I have to start it actually. Some people have asked me like what is a, how I have to start it, what are the topic wise which I have to learn. Okay. And the second point is that actually whether I can able to get a job or not. That is the very important concern which they are having. And the third point is that after get a job, whether I'll be able to survive or not. Third point. And the fourth point, what they're going to ask me that actually how long this domain will be. Like, it means that suppose today I will learn DevOps and cloud, and if I get into a job, how long I can survive in the job actually. Right. And the very important point is the people ask me that actually whether a non-IT also can get into the job. So I've seen this. This is a very, very core thing which people ask actually, and in multiple forums, they ask the same question actually. Right. I think some of you might have asked me this question, right? Sometimes back also you might have asked. Now it has been clear for you. But if you remember, like a long ago or a long time, right? Some of you have really asked me all these questions. And even, I want to share you one very important, like whomever have discussed, or I have given a time to them for counseling or for some like career growth like discussion. This is a very common thing which the people they ask me always. And actually, and like my energy goes off in explaining them at least for minimum first half an hour, right? My energy will go off to explain about all these things actually. So I thought that actually, yes, it's good that we are starting with a DevOps Foundation or CloudOps Foundation, but I thought that let me cover up this also at the very beginning, because like not only you guys, because there are many other viewers are there from the YouTube channel where people like connect with me, and they ask this very basic and fundamental questions always. So guys, let's cover this actually, and you can also add up some points if I'm missing something with this. Actually, this would be like an open discussion where I want to know your views also, but let me put forth my views and everything, like whatever whatever I know about this. Okay, so here growth, or what are the what I can say, it's like yeah, it's like getting into a DevOps profile, or getting into DevOps job. How to get into the DevOps job or CloudOps job? Actually, this is what the very fundamental thing which the people ask actually. Okay, see now, see, whenever if we want to get into the DevOps or CloudOps job actually, right? So the first question is that, is it really required that I should be from the technical side? It means that should my studies should include in the technical side, or I should be from a BCA, or I should be an engineering student, or I should be an engineering graduate, or my previous experience should be in the software. Not really necessity, right? Not really necessity, but it would be very good if you are from the technical side, right? Like me, that if you are from the engineering background or something, it would be good actually, because if you can fetch a job very easily. So that is one thing. I'm not degrading that if no people are into some other domain, like some people, you could see that some people are from the BCom background, some people are from MBA background. Like some of them have reached out to me also because they are from the BCom background also. Some people have did the BCom and with the like MCA background, and also they are into the job. I'm not saying no. I won't even degrade that they can't do it, or they'll not be able to do it. They can do it, but they have to do they have to put forth much more effort actually to learn about many of the other things before getting to the DevOps or something. They want to learn about all the core aspect of the softwares, right? And they need to learn about how the software culture works, and then they need to learn about all the fundamental aspect of the software, and then they can learn about the DevOps and cloud everything, and they can get into job. Right? You have seen that. You might have observed that many of the non-IT background also people are there in the DevOps world or into the DevOps profile. So I don't say it actually they don't get the job. They will get the job. But please, I'll make sure one thing that actually, it's a very hard truth. But I'll tell you one thing, that there are many organizations or institutes are there in India and else everywhere. They promises everyone that will get a job. You might have come across, so they will say that okay, any non-IT background also can come into it and they can learn. I'm not denying that actually. I'm not saying that, but trust me that nobody will support you for getting a job. Nobody, no institute or nobody will support you, and nobody want to even listen to your problems also. You might have multiple problems. You might be dealing with multiple problems, but when the thing comes, right, like you need to put forth your own effort actually. You need to put forth your heart, time and effort to learn these technologies. It is not that any institute or any person will help you in learning everything. No, it's you have to put. They might teach you just 20, 30 or 40% of the knowledge what they have or what they are supposed to. But ultimately, the lot of other efforts you need to put forth, guys. So particularly a lot of people are there who are from totally non-IT background, and like many people are there who are from the BCom and have seen that they have succeeded in this DevOps job or the cloud. They are doing very well. They are also earning very well also. I'm not saying that they can't do it, but what happened that you need to put extra effort actually. And I'll tell you one thing very clearly: no institute or no other organization can fetch your job if you, for the job. It's all, I could say it's all nonsense actually, unless until those institutes or organizations, they particularly have some rapport with the management of the company or something, which they can do something for you to fetch a job. Otherwise, it's a soul that you only have to try out. You only have to update yourself. No shortcuts, guys. You have to update yourself, learn in a very better manner each and every tools in DevOps, and try to fetch a job, or try to attend an interview and fetch a job. Please don't follow any shortcuts for this, because there is no shortcuts. And people who promise that you are all now, many of the people who are in non-IT, yeah, we will get a job and all, don't get trapped with all those things. So it's all, it is all nonsense actually. So definitely non-IT guys, right? They have to put forth a lot of effort actually. That non-IT people, they have to put extra efforts in learning DevOps and cloud, right? So you could see even in our group also, in our WhatsApp group, people are there. Some of them, I'm not naming them. Some people are there who are from the BCom background, but they are into the job actually. They are into the job. So they have called me and they said they told me that they got a job recently. One person got a job actually. He's from the he's from the BCom background actually. But guys, I'll tell you one thing very clearly, that you might be from any background actually, but suppose you're in from the BCom background or from the MBA background and you got a job actually. So trust, no, you need to put a lot, you need to struggle a lot at the industry. It's not so, it will not be so easy, because they'll put a lot of pressure on you actually. And one more very important question where people ask me is that actually, sir, what kind of a package I need to ask for? So that is a very, very, that's a very common question people ask me. So even some of you might have a doubt, right? What could be the package I need to go for it? And what is the current trend market in this cloud and DevOps? There are many such questions are being asked actually. So I will be addressing all those things. So maybe in another next 20 to 25 minutes, I will take some time guys to clear up this question, so that if some of you have any doubts, right, it will be clarified. And as I said, right, I'm addressing not only for you guys, for many other viewers who are watching these videos in the YouTube channel. Okay, for them also it is applicable. Okay, so so non-IT people, they have to put a lot of efforts in learning and understanding, but no doubt you will get a job in this actually, right? But you need to learn all the fundamentals, basics and everything, and then get into learning about these tools and technologies and everything. You will be able to get it, but you need to put an effort actually. Okay, now, so now the second point is that actually that a lot of people have asked me that Rajesh, we want to switch into it. Let it be an experience or let it be fresher. They'll ask the same question that I need to switch into DevOps and cloud or anything. How much time it will take for me, and how fast I can update on these technologies? This is a very basic question. And some of you or many of you will agree with me that for whom learning DevOps will be very harder. Is it for experience or is it for freshers? Can you tell me, some of you? Suppose you are an experienced person, or it means that you are already working in some domain.
Sir, both of them is hard. Actually,
No.
if someone is
No, I will tell you one thing. What I have experienced, that actually for the person who's an experienced person, or who is already holding some experience, like 8 or 10 years experience, who's having a family life also, for them it is very difficult to learn. even though
right,
even though they are into software work and all, right? So why? Because like those people who are already experienced people, who are into some comfort zone in their own level in their company, right, they will start giving excuses for learning anything. Their mind will not accept any new things to come in. Why? Because, right, they are into their own comfort zone. They have learned something. They have worked on some technology. They have been working. They go into that comfort zone, and they don't want to learn any new thing. Their mind will not accept to learn any new thing unless and until you fine tune your mind. If you don't fine tune your mind, you will not accept any new learning actually. But whereas the freshers or the people who are having 1 or 2 years experience people, right, for them what happened, everything is very new to them. They're very open to learn any new things, and they will be in a very faster pace in learning also. So getting a job in a DevOps or cloud is very, very easy for a fresher or a people who is having less than 2 years of experience. Let it be a like a fake experience, or let it be a like proper experience if they are really working, right? For them, getting a job in DevOps and cloud is very easy, because they can learn this technology in a very faster way. But I'm not degrading that. I'm not saying that experienced people cannot learn. They have to put, but they have to fine tune their mind. They are well already. They can do it because they're already working in a software world. They know the software culture. They know about how things happens in the software. They can learn. But what happened? They only show some kind of a laziness to learn the things. So that I have seen very commonly that people promises a lot, but they won't learn it, and they will take their own sweet time to learn and everything. So that's how it will take more longer time for an experienced person rather than the fresher people. That I have seen it actually. I have seen it. I have seen in I've seen many people with that actually. So they say that we can learn in 5-6 months, but they take years together to learn it actually. But whereas a fresher or very less experienced in the industry, if you want to learn, right, he will aramse enroll for any course. 4-5 months he will learn, and he will be ready with the 4-5 months, and he'll apply a job and he will get it actually. That's what. And so what happened, right? Fresher or experience or people less than 2 years experience will learn these technologies very faster. Okay, compared to the experienced people. Compared, why? Because as I said earlier, they will go to their own comfort zone. So they don't want to come out from that zone actually. So that's in that sense only I'm saying. Other than that, I'm not really saying that they can't learn compared to experienced people. One more thing, one more very important is actually that, whenever a fresher or a person who is having a less than 2 years experience, okay, I won't say that if a person is having around more than 2 years experience, like 2, 3 or 4 years experience, I don't call him as a fresher. He is an experienced fellow only. He's a much experienced person. You can equate a person who's having 3 or 4 years experience, equate it with even with the 10 years experience also. You can equate them because they will be having more or less the same knowledge actually, right? Unless and until an experienced person, no, he learns many other technologies. But if you see in the industry, you could see that many of the things which a 3 or 4 years experienced person can solve it, the same thing will be even solved by the 10 years experience also. Right. So you can equate that kind of a knowledge actually. That's how the trend is going on nowadays. Right. You could see that the freshers or the people who are having very less 3-4 years experience, they are playing a very major role in the industry nowadays because they're learning things very faster. Whatever the person who has took 10 years or 12 years experience to learn something, right? These freshers or the new people have learning within 3-4 years. So in that sense, I'm saying actually, right. And the third very important is actually that one more thing very important, for the fresher, actually, for the fresher or the person who's having a less than 2 years of experience, right? There is nothing like a lose for him, actually. Everything is like a gain only for him because if he starts learning DevOps and cloud, right, he will fetch a job. And trust me, there are a lot of opportunities out there who are having a very less experience, like 2 or 3 years experience. You have seen that they are getting frequently, they are getting placed actually in the industry. Why? Because the point is that every industry is open to give the DevOps or CloudOps profile, even for the less experience with a very less package. With a very less package. If you take a 3 years experience person, he arams get a package of 10 to 12 lakhs package, between 10 to 12 lakhs of package per annum package, right? And this is very easy for the industry or for the company or for the management to give this kind of a package. 10 to 12 lakhs package is a very, 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 it's like a peanut for them. Even if I want to tell you, now the thing is that up to 20 lakhs package, okay, it has become a very common. It means that they can give easily this kind of a package to to the people who are having 3 or 4 years of experience. It could be a fake experience or it could be original experience or already they're working, but they're ready to give it. So only when the challenging comes that whenever the company want to give more package to any DevOps or cloud who's having a very high experience, right? Suppose in my case, if I'm having like, 12 years of experience, so I'm searching for a cloud ops job or the DevOps job, right? For me, getting a job and getting a very high package, it is very difficult and it will be a very challenging task for me because I need to have a very in-depth knowledge on some of the tools, right, which are there in the DevOps. Plus, I should have a real-time exposure on all those tools also. And also I should be able to resolve any kind of issues when it comes. So that is what I'll be paid for. So whenever an experienced person like who will be having more than 10 years experience or around 10 years experience, if he's trying for a job, right, for him, it will be very, very challenging because because even for him, learning DevOps or cloud will be new for him because he might be working, for example, a database engineer, a database administrator or engineer, right? He might be working in the Oracle database for more than 10 years. Okay, Oracle DB, right? He might be good in his all his knowledge and concept, whatever he has been working, and through very hard, like he has learned many things in the Oracle database, right? So let it be a programming, or let it be administration, or let it be any of the tasks which they take care, right? They might have took a lot of effort in learning everything, right? So, but what happened, right? If the same database in administrator, right? If he want to fetch a job in DevOps or in cloud, right? He has to learn the technology. He has to learn the DevOps. He has to learn DevOps. It means that he will try to understand what is DevOps is all about. Okay, there are some tools other which I need to learn. Okay, there are some I need to even work on some project to showcase that I was working on DevOps. Plus, what happened, right? You should have a mindset of architect. Actually, it means that if any architecture or any scenario based question is being asked in interview, right, he should be able to answer those questions. Actually, that's the reason. That's how he's going to be able to fetch a job, right? So learning all these aspects, even for the 10 or 12 years of experience, also is very difficult, because he need to learn first the tools. He need to learn in depth or in detail about the tool, right? He need to even do a lot of practicals to learn, and he has to even understand how exactly these tools will be used in real time or in the project wise, actually. So he should gather all those informations and everything, right? Maybe he might not be working, he might not get a job in his own company only with that, or else he cannot switch to the other domain in the same company, right? There might not be an opportunity, he might be looking outside. So he has to undergo a lot of things to learn, actually. So getting a job for him is also very difficult. Why? Because that he's an experienced person. Based on his experience only, he will fetch a job, because he might be getting some 25 or 30 lakhs package. He want to get into some 40 or 45 lakhs package. So companies, right, they won't simply give you 40 or 45 lakhs package, right? You need to withstand with whatever they have the requirement, right? It means that during the interview process, whatever they ask you or whatever the requirements are, you need to fulfill them. Some of the tools which you might not know at all, right? They might ask you about that also, whether you have a knowledge on that, whether you worked on that. Like, for example, suppose if you are an experienced person, you go, maybe some company might ask you, have you worked on GitOps or have you worked on GitLab? How much knowledge you have, right? So they would be asking some particular tool itself, whether you have a knowledge on that, because in that company, maybe they might be heavily working on those tools, right? So the things will happen in such a way that, like if you're going for interview, you need to have a maximum knowledge on many of the tools, because you're showcased as an experienced person. You're a highly experienced person, so they will expect a lot of things from you. So that's the reason what happened, right? Getting a job for a person who's having 2 or 3 years experience with a very less experience, and getting a package of 10, 12 or 15 or below 20 lakhs is very, very easy nowadays, compared to fetching a job for a very high package. So that's what I would suggest. Many of you, I know that you are already having a real-time experience. You have been working in industry for 7, 8 years, but no, like, and you might have not faced any intro at all. No, trust me, guys, it will be a very tough for you. It will not be so easy. And many times I've said the same thing to many of you, that they are very, very selective nowadays. It means that they want to take best out of best. They won't take simply you have some basic knowledge, or you, because even the freshers or 1 or 2 years experienced people, they also gain the same basic knowledge. So what is the difference between you and them? So that is what it is actually. Then they will make out very easily also, right? If you're going for interview and you're attending, right, through the answer, the way you answer, right, the interview will really get to know whether you are an experienced person in this domain or not. Maybe you might be having a real-time experience. You might say that, sir, I'm working in Oracle company only as an Oracle database administrator. You might be working, but what happened, right? They will ask you a question in such a way on DevOps and cloud that they will easily, they can able to get to know that you don't have that kind of a real-time, experience in this actually. So for you guys who are all experienced people, right, please make sure that you need to learn in a very in detailed manner. No shortcuts. Hard work is required, and you need to learn more, more and more in detail compared to 2 or 3 years experience. Correct? So, guys, I hope you agree with this statement. So this question, why I'm addressing this is because, like many people have come across, like yesterday itself, one guy came across and he said he's having a 12 years of experience in database. So I'm quoting his example only. So he asked me, sir, how I can get to DevOps. The problem, like some of you might ask, sir, why all the people, many of the domain people are switching to the DevOps actually. Why? For example, even QA engineers are getting into the DevOps, or even many people who are working as a database administrator, right? In some cases, some people are working as a database developer. Even they are switching into the DevOps and cloud, right? Even like the simple support engineer, he might be getting into DevOps. Even some people who are into the production support engineer, they are getting into the DevOps and cloud. So it's all because of the package. Actually, it's all because of the DevOps and cloud will give a very lucrative package, right? That's the reason what happened. People are switching actually. Even I'll tell you one thing, guys. Like for example, in my previous organization, right? I'm telling you the fact actually. I have met with many of the database administrator actually who are having 10 to 12 years of experience actually, and like their package is not like above for 24. They are lying between 22 to 24 lakhs package actually. And like they're having 12 or 14 years of experience. And you could see that a DevOps and or the cloud op engineer with just 8 or 9 years experience, right, he will be getting around 40 lakhs package. So what happened, right? When a database administrator, when that person, right, when he sees that people who was having a very less experience, 8 or 9 years or 7 years experience, if they are able to get out, they are working for the 40 or whatever, 40 or 45 lakhs. If they are working on, why I can't actually? That's a question comes to their mind. And they know that actually that, okay, and what happened, right? Because because like in the DevOps or cloud, a lot of tools and a lot of new technologies come to the right. So the industry is expecting or require the people should have a knowledge on all these things actually. So even though say database administration and all are very good job actually, I'm not saying no, but what happened, right? Those demands have come down actually. They are not that much highly paid jobs nowadays. Even they can make it to work even with a 2 or 3 years experience person also. So as and when your career, when your experience is growing, right, you know that you will not be able to fetch that kind of a very big package, because what happened, right, the industry will not give you, or the company in which you're working will not give you, will not pay you that much amount. So that's the reason what happened, right? This has made many people to jump, even the developers, like the developers. For example, I'll tell you one more example. I know one guy who was, yes, sir. No, sorry, your voice is not clear. Can you come back? Your voice is not clear, guy. Who is that? Yeah, please go ahead with your question. Okay, so what I was trying to say that actually, so like I was trying to say that many of the developers also nowadays switching into the DevOps and cloud, because again, the same point is that it's a high paying job actually. It's a high paying job, no doubt. There is no doubt in that. It's a high paying job, right? And people who are working as a developer, like for example, I'm just taking an example, like I know some people who are working as a PHP developer, from last 7-8 years. And like I'm telling you the fact actually, that they are getting, or they are earning a package of between 15 to 18, or they might be max earning 15 to 18. In some locations, I want to tell you, like in some locations, like in Pune or Gurgaon, if you go, right, you'll find many of the PHP developers who are working as a PHP, and they're having 7-8 years of experience in that actually. And like they're getting, and if you hear that package, right, if you see what kind of package they're earning, they're earning 12 or 14 lakhs package. Such kind of people also there actually. So when those guys, when they got to know, they come across with this thing that, okay, the DevOps or cloud people are earning much better than the other domain people, right? Obviously, those guys are also shifting actually. And some people who have been working for a very long time as a developer also, they also feel, okay, let me do a switch into a new domain where I can explore many things. That is also one of the reasons where many of the developers are switching actually. Because what happened, right, when the developers are working, right, they also make use of a lot of like DevOps tools. They will use of the Docker, they'll use of Kubernetes, and they'll use of Jenkins and everything. So when they started working those tools, right, and they put a lot of interest in this work, because it provides a lot of automation actually. So in that way also they switch into the DevOps. So that's the reason you could see that in a multiple different domain, right, people are switching into the DevOps and cloud actually. So clear, guys? So it's very simple. People can learn all these tools and technology and they can switch easily. That's not difficult. Clear? Okay, now the very important question comes. Guys, any questions still here? I know I'm in continuously speaking, but if you have any doubts, please let me know. You can unmute yourself, sorry, and you can ask me. No? Okay. Fine.
Rajesh sir, Vaibhav here.
Please go ahead.
Sir, any technique to fast this mug up those tools or this practice those tools? Any path is there? I mean, start with which tool and just end with which tool?
Yes, I'm coming to that, sir. Sir, first important thing, sir. First very important thing.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Okay, yeah. So first very important thing, Vaibhav and others, that actually there is no shortcut, sir. Please don't follow any shortcuts. Don't follow shortcuts. Don't follow the shortcuts. So don't follow shortcuts. Let it take time. Suppose it takes some more time to learn and everything. Take your own time or take that much time and complete the learning. Don't follow any shortcuts. That is one thing. And please, I would request, don't go for proxy interview. I know many people, they have gone through proxy interviews. Through proxy interviews, they have got cleared and they have been working. They are succeeded also. I'm not saying that they have been succeeded because of the effort or the hard work which they have put in. But some people have given the proxy for them, they have got placed. But majority of the people, many of the people, right, they have lost even the job also, even after getting through proxy, because they're not able to handle the pressure or they're not able to handle the work, what is going on in the industry. Hence what happened, within a short time, they have been laid off actually. And you have come across with a lot of such cases where people have been laid off. So please don't follow these things. Okay, because ultimately you need to work in industry. Tomorrow, if you join a company, you need to work for 10 to 15 years in the company, or you need to work in this domain for next another 10 years actually. So in that way, what happened, you should have a sufficient knowledge where you can start working on the things or working on the task, whatever are assigned to you. Right. Suppose you went through proxy, if you have very little knowledge in that domain or something, and if any task is given, if you're not able to do it, you yourself are struggling to work or understand that will be very nightmare for you. Because in today's things, right, when you get into industry, when they start giving KT, usually companies don't give KT. They directly they'll take you to the project and they'll put into it. If they give a task to you, obviously what happened, they expected daily updates from you on that task. It's not like that. Some companies are very crazy. They're asking you hourly basis updates on what you did, how much you did, and all. And it is very difficult actually. You cannot take that much pressure at the time. And nobody will come and help you out, guys. Nobody's going to come. You think that, okay, I'll give some money for some person who will help me out. I've seen many people who have lost their money by unnecessarily paying the money for some other person who doesn't help you out properly. Some people are there who will say that, oh, we'll help you out, please give us half of your salary. A lot of people are doing in this world today. Even you take any places, people are doing that. But trust me, they will not help you to fix any issue. They'll not help you to come up with any solution of your problem, whatever the task you're doing. They can only give you some hints, some pointers they'll give you. For that itself, they're charging so much money. Why you have to give so much hefty amount to some person who will only give some tips and tricks to work on it? Nobody will give solution to you. Suppose you join some company, they'll tell you, okay, Rajesh, I have this requirement, man. I need to automate. Please write a script for me. Please write a Python script for me. If you're not aware of Python script, or if you put a fake experience as saying that you know Python very well in your resume, maybe in interview they might not ask you Python, but they expect that you know Python. If they give you, and you need to write a script and give you, right? He might expect you to give the script by tomorrow only. Do you think that can you search for a person immediately who can help you out in writing a script and giving to you? No, right? Nobody will come and help you like that, right? So there is nobody is going to help guys in this industry. You yourself have to put the effort. You yourself have to work on the task actually. Please be very clear and very precise on that. So that's the reason what happened. You might take initially some time to learn, but learn in a very learn in a very in-depth manner. Don't lightly learn anything. Please learn, take it seriously in each and every tool or each and every technology. Take it very seriously and learn in depth and in detail, because that learning itself will make you sustain in the industry. And the second thing might ask, sir, I have learned it, I have did the practice, right? I have did little practice. Will I able to survive in the industry? Will I able to cope up? No doubt, it is not that easy. It will be very difficult for you initially 2-3 months journey, or initial 4-5 months or 6 months, whatever the time. It will be very difficult for you. Trust me that if you have learned and practiced yourself very well, right, you will be able to easily understand many of the work aspect when you start working on that project actually. So please remove all those clutters from your mind that, sir, I don't have a real-time experience. Still, will I able to work on the project or not? So that's the reason I'm saying that first learn the thing, sir. Learn the basic aspect and everything. Have a strong knowledge on each and every tool or whatever the tools which they've been using in industry. Okay, you need to learn that. You need to learn in a very in-depth manner. Do a lot of practical things. Make your hand dirty to learn. I'm sure that you will be able to work out. Initially, you might feel a lot of hurdles. You might see that when you're attending any, like meetings and all, when the stand-up meetings, when you are speaking with the team people, when they are discussing out many things about the project, maybe some of the things might go out of your mind. It might be bouncing on top of your head. You might not understand. But slowly what happened when you start getting involved deeply into everyday work, right, with the project, right, definitely you learn. But the prerequisite for is that actually you need to learn in a very in-depth or in detail before you get a job. Please learn the tools and get into jobs. So that is my humble request. And don't even think that, sir, I will learn some basic things, sir, then I'll get to industry, then I will start learning. No, they will not give any time at all for you to learn. Please don't go with that assumption. Some people will go that assumption also. Okay, I will learn something, I'll take some proxy. Okay, clear the through proxy, then I get into industry. And then I will learn, explore more things, and then I will learn and I'll apply. No, so the time they will not give you. That much time they won't give you at all, because they will take you as a experienced person, not as a fresher. You're not from the college passed out where they will take you and start training you. No, you might be 2 or 3 years of experience or 4 or 5, whatever the experience which you put and go, right. They'll expect you to work on a task on the first day onwards. And when I joined in the new company, right, in the recent company which I joined 3 months back, right, on the first day itself, on my induction day itself, after the second half of the day, right, they assigned me a task actually. And I've shared this information with few of the people also, that on the second half of the day itself, they asked me, they assigned me a task actually. So that kind of an expectation they'll keep on you actually. Clear, Vaibhav?
Yes, sir. It's got clear.
Please, sir, please, that's a humble request with everyone. All people who watch it, don't take it in a shortcut way, sir. Please learn.
No, sir. I'm not just talking about shortcut, but I'm just asking about how to plan properly.
Yeah, I'm coming to that question itself, but this was a generic thing which many people asked me. Okay.
Yes, got it, sir. It's clear now.
Yeah, many people have this kind of a mentality also. Like let me learn something, go inside, then I'll explore. No, please don't do that actually, because you can't explore. You don't have time to explore over there.
Yeah, you mean basic doesn't work. You have to just dig into this tool properly.
Basic is a foundation for everything, sir.
Yeah,
basic is required, but on top of the basics, you need to learn many other things so that you will be able to understand what are the tasks which they give, right? You will be able to do it, or if you are able to start that task, working on that task. Only with the basic will not suffice it. Of course, if you go for interview or anything, they'll ask you the basic only. First, they'll ask you the basic, and then they'll start going in detail about each and every tool. So don't limit yourself to learn some basic or few things actually. Learn in a very in-depth, in detail manner, whatever the tools offer for you to learn. You need to learn in detail, go there, because you'll be using all aspect or all features of that tool in the industry. You'll be doing. See, only, like, say, for example, I'm just saying that, for example, you said, sir, I want to know about Jenkins. Sir, shall I know how to install Jenkins? Yeah, you should know the installation. Sir, shall I know how the pipeline works? You should know. Sir, shall I learn the freestyle project, how to write it? Yeah, you need to learn all those things. But what happened? Don't limit there itself. There are many other things that you need to learn about the shared library. You need to learn about the Groovy scripting. You need to learn about the multi-branch pipelining. There are many other things which are advanced things in Jenkins, which you need to learn it. Don't limit yourself in learning basic things and few things. Oh, with this, you might fetch a job, you might get a job, but once you get inside it, when the task is given to you, right, you need to even work on the task also, right? So you need to have a very in-depth knowledge on few of the tools which I'll be coming across now. Clear? Anything, sir, whatever might be, please put forth your 100%, 200% in learning many things. Don't limit yourself for learning anything. Don't learn any basic. Always learn in a very in detail core manner. Okay, now coming to the now coming to the question. Next question is that actually that a lot of people they've asked me that what is the series, in which series we need to learn actually. See, guys, I want to tell you one thing very fundamental thing that whenever you want to get into DevOps and cloud, very important is that actually you need to have a knowledge on some of the operating system. Very fundamental. What is it? I need to have a knowledge on Linux operating system and Windows operating system. Don't discount yourself that, so I know Linux are only, or I know only Windows. No, you need to know both also, because if you go into the industry, they might be working on any of this operating system platform, right? Even trust me, like the company which I'm working now, everything is on Windows actually. And I've never worked on Windows, and all my previous experience, everything is on Linux actually. See, but still I'm not struggling actually, but yeah, I'm learning and I'm enjoying it. But what I got to know that, oh, you need to have a knowledge on everything actually. So fundamentally, if you go to any industry, you might see that 60 to 70% of the companies, they might be using a Linux operating system throughout their work aspect, right? And in many of the other industries, right, they would be using Windows also. So in our company, all our applications, everything are written in .NET. They all are deployed in the Windows operating system or Windows servers only. So I need to have even a Windows knowledge also, right? I need to have a PowerShell scripting knowledge also. I need to learn about all the services provided by the Windows, right? So many things I need to learn about the, like Active Directory services, what is about all Active Directory, all basic aspects of Windows also I should know. So don't discount yourself that, no, I should know Linux only. Windows also required, because if you fetch a job, if you get a job, you might land into working on that operator. So that is the first most important that. So how much I should know as a DevOps engineer? To little bit, like little optimal knowledge you should have. It's not like I should be expert in Linux or expert in Windows. No, DevOps doesn't read. As and when you start working on the work, right, you'll be slowly learning it actually. But in Linux or Windows, how much you should know means, at least in Linux I'm talking about. In Linux, actually, you should know that you should have a fundamental knowledge on the operating system. Fundamental knowledge on operating system. Fundamental knowledge means all aspects. Like for example, let it be a Linux servers actually. What are the different types of Linux servers are available, right? That you should have a knowledge actually, right? And also you should have a knowledge on your command lines. Oh, sorry, commands actually, not command lines. Command lines. You need to learn. You need to understand about what are terminals. Like what are terminals? What are virtual terminals? Though it's a very simple thing, I'm just telling you virtual terminals. You need to have a knowledge on commands. You need to have some basic knowledge on the on your Linux shell actually, like let it be your bash shell or let it be a corn shell, or whichever shell which work on it, right? And also I would request or suggest that you should have a little basic knowledge even on your bash shell scripting, little bit, not that much. Some people have asked me, sir, do you have to really I should be master in scripting? No, not really like that, but you should start working on a basic scripts, right? You should start writing a very, very simple, like 4 lines, 5 lines of code. Start writing it. One day will come that you will become an expert in scripting scripts actually. And of course, you should not stop with the bash shell scripting only. As I told many times that nowadays the trend has come that you need to know, even the DevOps engineer should know the Python scripting also. So please make sure that you should learn in the future, in the next 1 or 2 years, you need to be well equipped with learning on Python also, or programming with Python also. Okay, so this is the first important thing the people have to know that. So once you are aware of Linux, actually, once you're good in Linux or good in Windows, actually, the immediate thing which you have to start is learning a cloud actually. And learning a cloud means you can learn AWS cloud or Azure or GCP or any other cloud which is available. But the most important cloud which are used in industry right now are these 3 clouds. All these 3 clouds are used: AWS, Azure, and GCP actually, right? Now that is very important. Okay, it means that after Linux, so you might say that, sir, why I have to learn DevOps and all. No, why you're saying cloud? So cloud is required, sir, because everything, whatever things which you're working on today, everything more or less you're working on the cloud only. So nowadays you have seen that many of people have experienced that even in every interview when you go, right, people are also eager to know or eager to understand how much you are good in cloud. If you're good in cloud, you say that, sir, I know everything on DevOps, but I don't know anything cloud, anything on cloud. I don't know I don't have any knowledge on AWS or Azure, means they won't take you at all. And in some aspects, you have seen that people are having very less experience in DevOps, but they're having good experience in cloud. They have been hired also. You have seen this, right? So guys, any questions? I think somebody were about to ask me some question. Okay, so now Now the question comes, sir, which cloud I have to learn? So now the current trend is that actually that the companies, each and every company are expecting a multi-cloud knowledge. It's not like one cloud. They need you to work on more than 1 or 2 clouds. Even in my current organization, in my current company, I've been working on Azure, but now they are saying that they have got one more project where they said that this project will be on GCP and AWS also. Even though I don't know GCP now, I have to learn GCP also. So now what happened, right? You will be working on a multiple cloud also. There are many companies out there who are working on and the same project, right? In a one single project, they're using two clouds, Azure cloud, AWS cloud, both. I think some of you have experienced this. Guys, some of you have experienced this. You can share your information, knowledge also, so that people will get to know that in many organizations, they are working on multi-cloud in a single project itself. So there's no discount now. So, but still, what happened, right? Some of you, I know that some of you, very old people, or 6-7 years back, people who started working on it. I know that people have learned a lot on AWS actually, and people have did a lot of certification also. So some of you have did a associate certificate, some of you have did a professional certificate, AWS certified professional architect certificate. Some of you might have did a SysOps administration certificate. Some of you have even did a AWS Devops certificate actually, like that certification also there. DevOps certification. I know that many people have grabbed many of the certifications. They are very good in AWS and they've been working in industry also, and they are they are into very good position. I know that many people are working on the domain. But now what has happened, right? Slowly what the trend has little bit changed towards Azure now. That's what I want to say. You know that all these people who are working on AWS now, suddenly there was a need that they need to even learn Azure also. It has come, or else, for example, the AWS guy who's working on AWS, right? Like he has made up his mind to fetch a job, or he has made his mind to get a further very good job actually. But when he start trying, he got to know that actually that in today's sorry guys, can you mute? In today's world, right? There's a more demand in Azure actually. That's what they have come up with, and those people have started even learning Azure also now. Here. So what I would suggest to that actually that people, some of you who are very new to cloud, guys, please mute. Amir, okay. So yeah, so what I would suggest to that people who don't have any knowledge on any cloud or who want to learn into the cloud, that I would rather suggest first learn Azure actually. Because now in today's trend, Azure is having more market than the AWS actually, and that's a fact actually. See, this might swing also sometime. Sometime what happened, AWS will be more actually, because more and more companies are adopted AWS using AWS. Of course, the more market capture is on AWS only. But what happens slowly, the trend is changing now, and more and more companies know they are switching to the Azure actually. And even to be very frank, like many companies know, they have shifted. They're based from the AWS to Azure cloud actually, because they are getting a lot of lot of features and everything, right? But I would tell you one thing: Azure is little costly. The billing is little costly than AWS actually, little costly than AWS. But still, many of the companies, they have switched all their platform, everything to the Azure, from the AWS to Azure actually. AWS. And in our group, some of you might have shared, I want to just take a name. Naresh, you might have come across, right? Naresh, what happened in his company, all his projects everything was deployed on AWS actually. And now what happened, right? I got to know from last 6 months, they all are shifting all those applications which were running in AWS, they are shifting everything in Azure now. Because of some business reason, they are all moving it actually. So in that sense, what happened, right? All these days, Naresh was working on AWS. Now what happened, right? He need to forcibly learn even in Azure also. So that's how. So now what I would suggest you that guys whoever are want to learn cloud actually, I would suggest that first you learn Azure, and then you get into the AWS actually. Or as people who already been learning AWS, please finish that learning AWS and then switch to the Azure learning. But Azure is mandatory now, because out of 10 companies, even when I was giving an interview, out of 10 companies, like 7 companies asked me the knowledge on cloud, asked me for Azure knowledge. So it is very important that you need to have an Azure. So Azure and Azure DevOps and everything you need to learn, guys, actually. All these stuff you need to learn in Azure. Azure DevOps is a service provided by your Azure only, right? All your pipelining and everything, whatever you can achieve the CI/CD pipelining in your Azure cloud, you can do it everything with the help of a service known as a Azure DevOps. And earlier the Azure DevOps, the name was VSTS, right? Earlier the name was VSTS. Later they renamed it to a Azure DevOps. Clear? Fine. So now that's the reason you need to have. So the first trend is that you need to learn Linux. Second is immediately you need to learn the cloud. Okay. Now the question comes, many of you have a doubt actually. Sir, how many services or what are things I need to learn? Do I have to learn everything in the cloud? No, sir, it is very difficult. You cannot learn or touch out everything. Okay, fine. Sir, how many services are provided by each and every cloud, sir? Like for example, Azure, how many services are there? So there are more than 200 plus are there. Okay, fine. So what about AWS? Even AWS also there are more or less same, sir. More or less they'll be having 200 plus services. Oh my God, sir, if I want to learn 200 plus, I need 1 year or 2 years to learn only on AWS only or Azure only, right? I can't give that much time, sir. But how much is there? So I would tell you one thing very clearly, sir. Whenever you're learning anything on Azure or AWS, right? Minimum you learn 20 to 25 services, sir. That's all. All major services, all major 20 to 25 services you need to learn, and you should be very good in that, sir. Actually, very good in that. Play with only with this with those 20 to 25 services. Actually, let it be in AWS or Azure. Okay. Tell in an interview process that you know only these things only, because what happened, right? They might ask you many things in the cloud technology which you might not be aware at all. But still, what happened, right? With this 20 to 25 service, whatever you talk about, right, you need to be an expert in that, answering any of the questions related to that. For example, if I want to tell you, for example, like in AWS, you know something, there's something as a cloud formation. You need to tell, yes, I was doing a building infrastructure using AWS cloud formation also. Okay. So they'll ask you what exactly cloud formation. Can you write a template for me to write a cloud formation template? Yes, you should be able to write a JSON cloud formation template you have to write. Similarly, in Azure, there's an ARM template that you should know. So that is one service. And the second service in AWS is something like you have a code commit, code pipelining and all, right, which you can achieve a pipelining kind of a stuff in your AWS actually. Similarly, there is something like a AWS Fargate service, AWS Beanstalk, right, AWS Lambda. So this kind of a service, AWS VPC, right, AWS DynamoDB, AWS S3 like S3 service, AWS EC2, AWS Load Balancer, AWS EBS. So like that, whatever the fundamental services are there, guys, which you need to be very strong in that, because this is the first thing which when they start asking questions, they'll ask you about all these fundamental services only. They'll not ask you very high level. They'll not ask you, okay, Rajesh, do you know about AWS security? Do you know about AWS guard duty? Or what does AWS Shield does? Wafa Shield does? That thing and all, they'll not ask you. They'll ask you in a later point of time. But what happened, right, when you start answering all this fundamental 2020 in a very effective way, so they will make up the mind to take you actually, because that you are very strong in the fundamental or core services which are provided by the AWS. So now you will say that, sir, if you're saying there are 200 services are there, but you're saying only 20, sir, please first learn 20-25 services effectively. Don't think about I learn everything. It's not possible. It's very difficult. We cannot learn. We don't have that much time. So please learn, because in interview also they'll ask you. Some crazy people, some people who their core requirement in the job itself is that you need to have very good in-depth knowledge in the AWS and all. If you're going for an interview, you're not able to withstand with their expertise, no problem, leave it. If you're failing an interview also, don't worry, just leave it on, try to concentrate on other interviews. Don't think that, please don't make your mind that, okay, I got failed, or I don't have knowledge. No, don't. It's not like that actually. If you're failing in the interviews, you're learning something new. So please go out with that. The max to max, what you're going to lose, that you're going to lose that company. That's all. That doesn't mean there are many companies are there, right? There are many companies are where they'll offer a job for you. Please don't think that if one company or two companies or 10 companies are rejecting you, you'll not get placed. No, you'll get placed somewhere. Companies are there to offer you. But prior to that, you should have a good knowledge. That's what I would request everyone, that you learn in a very in detailed manner for everything. So now when it comes to Azure or AWS, guys, 20 to 25 services are very, very mandatory. You need to learn. So should I learn other things also? Yeah, whenever you have a time, you keep learning. Nobody will stop you to learn, right? But what I would say that minimum, just first address this 20 to 25 services in a very effective way so that you will learn everything. Clear, guys? Now, apart from this, very important is that your resume should look very good if there is something like a certification. So I would expect you that once you're learning cloud, guys, please make sure that you clear the certification also. Now, what I'm saying that industries are more towards uh, hiring the people who have the cloud certification. It's not that they're not even seeing that you are having some DevOps tool certification. Like for example, you're having Terraform certification in your resume, or it's if there is something certification on certified Kubernetes administration, CK certification, CKD certification, or as CK is a certified Kubernetes security administration. Those certifications are very important. I'm not saying, I'm not denying that you don't have to take that certification. You have to take at some point of time. But what I'm saying that they are more, they're more looking for a candidate who have did the cloud certification. Because what happened at all the kind of a work, what is going on in industry nowadays, it's more or less setting up the whole application, everything in the cloud itself, or as doing a migration activity. Only these two things are happening in industry, right? This is what it happened, right? In our company also, which I'm working, right? Most of the applications we are migrating from our on-premise to the cloud only. So in that way, what happened, right? They will expect a candidate or a person should have a knowledge on cloud. That is first important thing. Basic to advanced level knowledge you should have. 25 to 40, so whatever you claim that you should have a knowledge of that. Second is that it is also good that if you showcase the certification. And I would rather expect, guys, from everyone that please do the certification AZ104. AZ900 is a very basic certification. You can do or not, it's left to you. But do with the AZ104 certification. AZ, if I'm not wrong, if it is 304 or 305 certification is also there. That is also good. Azure Devops certification also well and good. If you do the certification, do it. Same thing, guys. I would the same certification, the same way I would even say that in AWS also, please do the certification. I think I did S003 certification, associate architect certification, right? Professional certification, associate architect certification, certification. And please also do your, if you, whenever you're having a time, and please do with the professional certification also. Okay. And also like in the near future, I'm saying, I'm not saying that do it immediately. Okay. But it is well and good if you at least do the first basic or preliminary certification, you clear, no, that will look very good in your resume. That at least you can showcase that you have some fundamental knowledge on cloud. That is what it is needed actually. Clear? So, and also like AWS DevOps, this is a little bit tough actually. This is a little bit tough. I think AWS DevOps professional certificate, AWS networking certificate, networking. These are a little bit tough certification actually. Okay, AWS developer certificate. This is not really required for us, but still I'm just saying you. But there are many certifications are there, guys, which you can do it actually. Once you have completed your AWS or Azure certification, please try to concentrate on other DevOps certificate like Terraform certification or Kubernetes certification. Docker is not really required. There is nothing like if according to my knowledge, there's nothing like a Jenkins certification, but there is a Docker certification there. There's an Ansible certification there, which is provided by your Red Hat itself. Ansible certification, RHL certification, right? RHL certification, as well as you have OpenShift certification. Those are a little bit demanding certification, which which will really fetch you a very good job actually. Okay, so please always make sure that when you are learning these things, actually, when you're learning the cloud and everything, please even have have an idea that okay, you need to do the certification also. Clear? Okay, guys. So sorry, I think we didn't started anything on DevOps and cloud fundamental, but I think this was needed because many people have asked this question. Now coming back to the DevOps, actually, these are the two things, Linux and cloud. Now coming to the DevOps. Yes, guys, please ask me questions if you have.
Sir, okay. If you want to write a certification, do we have any practice kind of exams like something like
yes,
that?
Sir, there are many dumps are available, sir. A lot of people have kept the dumps. If you want, you ask me, I will share the dumps to you. There are many Udemy dumps are available. You can go and you can register. Okay, you have to, whenever you are doing any certification, let it be Azure or AWS, please make sure that minimum you solve. I will write it here. All dumps are available, sir. Means either through with some person you might have dumps, Okay, or else you can get some Udemy, from the Udemy videos you can get the dumps. Okay, minimum practice or solve minimum 600 questions, sir. Minimum, say. With when you're solving so many number of questions, right, you will get a complete picture on how I have to crack the certification. And trust me, sir, if you are solving so many questions and if you go for attending a certification, that will become a damn easy for you to clear it. And please make sure that you clear off the first shot itself. Don't give a second chance, actually. Okay, because if you don't clear it again, what happened? You need to again pay the money for, for going for example, that will be too expensive for you. Please, and always that take your own time. If you are fix your mind that okay, within 1 month or 1 month, I will take only for. So please take that whole month, 1 month to update only on or practicing only on those questions or terms. Don't deviate your mind anywhere. First, you try to solve all the questions, understand everything. Okay, go through a lot of YouTube videos where they have where they've explained about each and every question answers, why that answer, a particular answer is all about, why you're selecting that question. They will give the logic also and everything. So you need to go through all the things, understand everything. And try to go with a lot of free what do you call tests are available. Go and attend those tests also. You will be able to evaluate yourself where you're standing. Again, you improvise, again, you study it, and then finally go for an examination, sir. Same thing applicable for any kind of a certificate. Let it be a Terraform or let it be a Kubernetes and all. Please do like that only. Study in detail everything. All fundamental concepts should be clear. Okay. And then solve all kind of questions. Minimum 600 questions you solve for the certification, and they go for the certification, you will clear it. No doubt. And if you clear it, and once you gain the certification, I will tell you that you will get a tremendous confidence on yourself. So you can able to tell in front of everyone that, yeah, I know this. I know about this topic. I know about this. So that confidence is required from you, actually. So that certificate will show a confidence that you know about that particular topic very well, or at least you have a fundamental knowledge on that topic. Clear? So that's the reason what happened, right? Why I'm stressing on the certificate, right? Firstly, it will look very good in your resume. That is first important thing. And the second important thing is that actually you will be very much confident within you because you have cleared the certification, you have fundamental knowledge, you will be able to crack the intro, or you will be able to answer many of the questions, whatever they asked. Clear? Okay. So now once this is done, guys, yes, now next, the last part is that, the last part is the DevOps tools. Now the very important thing, sir, how many DevOps tools are there? And actually, in the real world, how many DevOps are there? Are n number of tools are there, sir. I mean, if you count it, I would say that there are 100+ tools are there. Do you think that all the 100+ tools we can learn? Nowhere, sir. In our whole life, we cannot learn all the tools, and it is practically impossible. Okay, so first, that is one thing. And the second point is that actually, sir, I'm using some DevOps tool. Whether it will be replaced, definitely, sir. You're working on some DevOps tools. Definitely, next 5 or 10 years, your tool will be replaced with some other tool also. It means that you need to even learn the new upcoming tool also. So, okay, fine. Then in that way, sir, what are the tools which I need to learn then? If you're saying that way that things are frequently changing, a lot of new things are coming up. So what are the basic tools which I should have a knowledge, right, to fetch a job or to get a job into this DevOps, right? What are the basic tools? So the first important that you should have a knowledge on Docker, sir. Docker is very important because this is the containerization tool, actually, because nowadays everything is containerized, actually, right? All the microservices, everything, whatever the application which is built, right, all those microservices are containerized. It means that they will run in some container platform. So one of the very important container platform or the tool is a Docker, actually. So Docker is very important. Once a Docker is done, sir, please study Kubernetes, sir. Kubernetes is very important. Try to learn in the Kubernetes and Docker in a very in-depth way, because that you are 40% of your interview questions. They will target 40% of your interview questions, or your interview questions will be asked in this tool, actually, will be asked majorly in these two tools, means Docker and Kubernetes, actually. So that's the reason I'm stressing that you need to learn in a very in-depth, whatever I'm saying all this time, very in-depth, very in-depth. The very in-depth is Docker and Kubernetes. Clear, sir? And there are many things are there. Many new features have come up in the Kubernetes. Those also you need to keep a tab on all those things, actually. And once you're learning Docker and Kubernetes, again, as I said, if you have a time, please attend the Certified Kubernetes Administration. This is the this is our this is a certification you need to do it actually. Not now. I'm not saying that you do it now only. You can plan anytime after some point of time. But yeah, you should have a you should have a thought process. In the near future, I need to do the certification. Like that, you should have a thought process in your mind. Okay, because that also have little bit weightage in your resume. It will show that yeah, you are very good in Kubernetes, you are very good in handling Kubernetes administration tasks, and also you have a very good knowledge of in detail features about what are the Kubernetes it provides. Right? That knowledge you have, and like I will tell you one thing, guys. In many of the industry, right, in next upcoming years, right, you will find the jobs only for Kubernetes administrator. You will see, you will see in the upcoming future, right? In 1 or 2 years, right? You will see in any kind of a job portal website, let it be Naukri or let it be Most Anywhere, right? They will particularly ask they'll ask you about, do you have a knowledge or do you have a working knowledge of Kubernetes administrator? Do you have a certification of CK or CKS, whatever? Do you have the knowledge? Do you have certification? That is what it means, that they're narrowing down everything. They'll say, okay, remove all those things. I don't want any other tools. I want only Kubernetes only. Do you have a knowledge? So that much of requirement will come now actually. So you need to even learn in a very detail, and all kind of let it be administrative aspect or let it be a programming aspect, whatever you do in your Kubernetes, right? You need to have a very in-depth knowledge, and all the new concept, whatever new things are there, like service mesh, Istio, or anything might be which you come up with or in the security stuff, whatever. Please learn even all those things also. Okay, so those things and all you need to cover in Kubernetes. So these are the two important major DevOps tools which you need to cover when you start learning your journey in DevOps actually. After this, sir, after this Docker and Kubernetes, sir, the next important thing which you need to learn is a Terraform. Very important. Okay, Terraform, right? In my channel, there's a Terraform videos also are also there. Actually, the playlist is also there. You can go through it, you can learn it. But there are beyond whatever I've taken, there are beyond more stuffs are there in Terraform, which I'll be covering. After some point, I'll be recording and I'll be putting the videos across in the same playlist. But Terraform is a very important, and nowadays Terraform has become kind of a mandatory in every industry. Mandatory. Even in my current project, which I'm working in a new company, right? Terraform is required actually. You go to any company, even small to big company, they started adopting Terraform actually. Right? So Terraform is also important. I would not say that you do a certificate on Terraform. Okay, fine. Still, again, the same stuff. You have a time, if you're having a time to update on Terraform dumps and everything, went through all the concept on Terraform, please even give the Terraform certification exam also. It's very less, I think 5,500 rupees something, that is amount you need to pay. And that is also like kind of a valid certification also. I mean, they accept it and it is good. And you know very well that some of you, and nowadays the trend, how like, I'm talking about this Kubernetes trend, which will be upcoming in near future, like within 1 or 2 years, it's going to come. But the Terraform, it's already started now. It means that you go for any interview, the very, very, very fundamental things which ask how much you have an experience in Terraform. 1 year, 2 year, or whatever. If you say that no, I don't have a knowledge on Terraform, or I have very less experience, or I don't have knowledge at all. I mean, they might take an interview for namesake. They might take an interview process for you, but almost you are rejected. Actually, they won't take you at all because you already told in an intro process that you have never worked on Terraform or you don't have knowledge on Terraform. So they will reject you. 100% they will reject you because in many of the industries, the mandatory they started using Terraform area. So you know that Terraform is nothing but infrastructure as a code, right? It means that whenever you want to build any infrastructure in any cloud environment or even onto the on-premise also, wherever you have to use a Terraform tool actually to do that. And you should have a very, very, very in-depth knowledge on Terraform also nowadays. It's very important. Even if they found some questions which are not properly answering, right, even in Terraform, they'll not take you for you. They will reject you actually. And that experience has happened to me also. And even for some of you also, that experience you have faced across, right? You might have not answered some questions on Terraform, right? But I mean, you have seen that the interviewer might not be happy with you. So and ultimately they will not call you for the next round at all. Even I have come across personally. So that is my experience I'm sharing, guys. So Terraform also you should have a very in-depth knowledge. Please learn Terraform also in a very in-detailed manner, right? That is one thing. And also please showcase some projects in your resume where you have used Terraform. This is very important, guys. You need to showcase some projects. So for this, some of you might have a doubt, sir, how I can showcase and all. So you might have doubts, sir, is there any way where you can teach us how I will be using the Terraform in the project actually? So please, we will have a separate discussion on this. Okay, we'll connect separately for this. We won't record that session, but I will show you how the Terraform will be used in a project, in a real-time project, so that you will get an idea on how to answer any of the question which has been asked in an interview. Like they might ask you a lot of question in interview, how exactly you have designed their infrastructure using Terraform, right? What is a standard way you write a Terraform, right? And can you explain about detail about what are things which you have implemented in a Terraform, right? So many things they ask in it actually. You should be able to answer those questions actually. If you're missing some of if you're not properly answering it, please trust me, guys, you'll be rejected actually. Definitely you'll be rejected. You'll not be taken. Even though in many other aspects you might have a good knowledge. You might have a good knowledge in Kubernetes also sometime. You might have good knowledge. You might have a little bit good knowledge on even cloud also. But I've seen some places, right, in some interviews, they reject you straight away. They won't say you actually, but they will reject you. Clear? And after this, guys, very important thing, the next important thing is nothing but your Jenkins. Jenkins is nothing but, you know that it is a CI/CD pipeline tool. It's a CI/CD pipeline tool. You need to have a good knowledge on Jenkins also. But before Jenkins, right, you need to have a knowledge on Git actually. So Git, you need to have, this is one of the source code versioning tool, you know that. So you need to have an optimal knowledge on Git. It's not like you need to have very in-depth knowledge, but in some interview, they ask you a lot of detailed things about the Git also. You should be able to answer those questions also. You need to address. So like that, and you need to have, the next is that, but you need to have a Jenkins knowledge also, Jenkins tools knowledge also. Tools knowledge. Okay, in Jenkins tools everything, like you need to know from the top to end everything. Sorry, bottom to the top, everything you should know on the Jenkins. And also like you should have a knowledge on the artifactories like your Nexus or your Nexus artifactory or else JFrog artifactory. Okay, you should have knowledge on SonarQube. I'm not discounting anything here. You should have an end-to-end knowledge on the complete CI/CD pipelining, right? Apart from this, what happened, right? I'll finish off this, then I will tell you something else. So after the Jenkins, you have a knowledge, because in many of the companies, right, they will ask you, they'll start the interview by asking Jenkins question only. You might have come across with that. So they will judge you at the very initially based on your knowledge on Jenkins. Based on your Jenkins actually. So please make sure that you should have a very good knowledge on Jenkins. So they might ask you to even write a declarative pipeline, or else whatever, or they might ask you straight core questions. They might ask you about the Jenkins configurations, right? They might ask you very in detail. You should be able to answer everything, even pin to pin, point to point questions. They might ask you a very fundamental question also they might ask you. So you should be able to answer very clearly. So please make sure that you shouldn't miss any of the things. Some of the things, what happened on, people might know many things actually. They might have written a lot of pipelines and all. But what happened, some of the fundamental question, very basic question also, sometimes they might not able to answer it actually. So what happened, right? For example, simple like in Jenkins, right? What is the file format it uses internally? How it works internally? What are the file formats? It's an XML file format it uses actually. For any kind of a communication within Jenkins, it uses XML file format. But some people, they might know or not, I mean, they might have, but they miss it actually. They might not tell it very properly in a during interprocess. So I don't know, for some reason they will reject them, saying that, okay, he doesn't have the fundamental knowledge also. So that's the reason what happened, right? Very minute to minute details about each and all these tools. So you should have a knowledge, because they will ask you very, very simple, very basic to very high fundamental question they'll ask. So please make sure that you concentrate on this tool set. And after this Jenkins, guys, the next very important thing is that actually you should have a knowledge on Ansible. Any one of the configuration management tool. So Ansible, you know that it's a configuration management tool. Now the question comes that some of you might ask, sir, how much I should know, sir? You're telling so many things. How I can learn all these things? Okay. Or else, what you tell me some few things, sir. Like minimum few things which I need to learn. I cannot spend that much time. Sir, I would suggest you that you need to learn these 4 tools very well, sir. Docker, Kubernetes, Terraform, and Jenkins, sir. Git by default, you should have a knowledge. I'm not discounting that, but you should have this much knowledge is it is necessary, sir. You should have a knowledge this much. Minimum 4 tools. So then the question comes, sir, with these 4 tools, sir, can I able to search for a job? Yes, sir. You can go ahead with the search for a job. Yes, you can first. You can give a try into it. Now what happened, right? Now the next thing, sir, what are the other things which I need to know? Sir, you need to even know the Ansible also. So to what extent I should know? Sir, I don't expect you to have a very in-depth knowledge on Ansible. Okay, but at least you should be able to have you should have a knowledge on writing at least a basic to at least a playbook files. You should be able to write. Suppose any task or suppose any question is been asked in an interview in the Ansible. Hey, can you write a playbook file, man? I need to install a LAMP stack, or I need to install Apache. I need to install some software. Can you write a playbook? At least you should have a knowledge to write a playbook. You cannot say that, no, I was only executing the playbook or something. No, not like that. You need to have fundamental. You should have a fundamental knowledge on what are Ansible models, how to use Ansible models and all like that. You should have a little bit basic knowledge on what are Ansible roles, what is Ansible Galaxy. Something here and there, you should have a good knowledge on Ansible also. It is very important. Some people will ask, sir, what about the Chef? What about the Puppet? Some industry might be using Chef or Puppet. You need not to consider that much, but majority of the industries are using Ansible. So please consider only on Ansible. Don't spend your time in learning Chef or Puppet, because not all companies are using this. So don't break your time or don't invest your time in learning. Some people might say, hey, learn Puppet, man. Yeah, Puppet is also a configuration management tool, but it is not widely used across the industry. So don't spend your time in that actually. Instead of you spending time on Puppet, learning Puppet or learning Chef, I would rather suggest you that you put more effort on learning on Azure DevOps or doing Azure DevOps certification. There it is lies. There it has a lot of value and demand. Clear, guys? Don't spend on time on learning Chef and Puppet and other tools actually. So it is not that much used in industry. Clear? So these are the basic fundamental tools, guys, which you should know from the DevOps actually. Apart from this, whenever you have more time, okay, and you might have seen, even personally, I have experienced that whenever I go for an interview, I'll put these tools and I'll go for an interview, right? But in some cases, what happened, in some companies are very much interested to know that, have you worked on GitOps? Have you worked on GitLab? Do you have a knowledge on your the Jira tool? Do you know what is do you have a knowledge on Confluence tool? Okay. Do you have a knowledge on working GitOps, GitLab? What else other tools are there, guys, which they have asked in many industries? They are using it actually. So I'm not no, I'm not saying that don't learn it actually. Whenever first be good in these tools, guys. Whenever you have a time, you can start learning the GitLab also. Fundamentals, not like that, just 20 to 25%. That's all. I'm not saying that 100% you have to study. No, these tools and all, at least the basic working, how this things works in these tools, right? Or it's like you have a knowledge on Bitbucket, right? There are many tools are there like that. Like some company might use the udeploy, Octopus deploy tool like that. Many tools are there. You can't learn everything. That's what I'm saying that. You can't learn everything. But what happened, right? Apart from this, you might come across with many people asking about saying that, oh, you have a knowledge on GitLab or you have a knowledge on GitOps. One second, please. So guys, that's what. So keep a tab on these tools also. Keep a tab. Just have a knowledge or something, basic knowledge, or there's at least 20 to 25% knowledge you should have with these tools. You should be able to tell something. Yeah, we were working on Jenkins. Yeah, but now slowly we are moving into the GitLabs actually, because GitLab is having more advantage than the Jenkins. You need to even tell the difference between why you are moving into the GitLabs and how you are writing a pipeline over there and everything. Some basic things. If you go through some videos which are available on YouTube, right, you'll get a knowledge or you'll get an idea. So you need to just share that info knowledge in front of an intro that this is what I know, but we are more exploring on this. We are working more on this actually. Similarly, you have to tell about the GitOps or any other tool which has been asked in interview. So what happened at the industry, when you go for interview, they will expect a lot from you, as if like you should know everything actually, all the tools you should know. But no, as a human, we can't learn so much actually. It's not possible. It's highly impossible. We can't learn everything. But you need to have a fundamental, or you need to have a strong knowledge in these 5 tools. So this is what, guys, I want to convey to you all, that minimum 5 tools knowledge is required. Apart from that, some few other tools also, you just have a tab on that saying that, okay, you need to learn, or you need to basically learn some few things on that. Clear? So guys, any other thing apart from this? I know that today I took a lot of time, nearly like I took 1.5 hour session on this actually, but this was very much required because every person asked me the same question. And like my first half an hour, my energy will go off explaining about these things only. So now you got an idea about something, okay, that DevOps is a very lucrative job. I mean that it's a high pay job. Okay, and the DevOps or the Cloud Ops, I'll guarantee you guys, the next 10 to 15 years, this job will be available, will be there in the market. The job will not go off. That is one thing. And very important is that actually, if you're working even as a DevOps and cloud, if you're working on DevOps and cloud, please don't think that actually that you'll always be there in the industry. No, you will. When you stop updating yourself, if you stop updating yourself, you make sure that you can be replaceable with some other resource. You'll be replaced with some other resource. So it's not like that you will always be there in the job, you will be sitting in a job. No, whenever you stop updating yourself, you will be easily replaced with some other person, with some other better person. And very important, guys, one more thing very important is actually, please, I was discussing yesterday with one guy actually, some of the people have a mentality that, no, I know everything, I have a very good knowledge on all things. Please remove all those things from your mind. That and also very important that some people think that, okay, I am the only guy who is working the team, or I'm the most highly productive person because I know many things. No, there is no dependency on anyone nowadays. You know that the software person can be replaced with any other person actually, because if you're working on a domain actually, and you're working a very core and you have a lot of dependency, it is not that you can't be replaced. You can be immediately replaced, because such kind of a core skill set people are available in the market. Right. So please remove that clutter from your mind that actually like because of me only the team is working, because of me. No, it's not like that. Right. You're only paid for whatever, for that 8 or 9 hours, whatever working, but you can be immediately replaced with any other person. So always one more thing that important in this, actually, guys, don't ever think that I know everything, because there is a better person from you. You will find a better person, a better knowledgeable person than you. So whenever you have that mentality or the mindset, okay, I don't have that much of knowledge, I need to update, that will only grow you more in your life. Okay, and never ever think, I know that many people are there in industry 10 years, 12 years or 8 years, they've been working, they have a very good rapport with the customer, the client, they're very good with the team also, within a team member, they have been doing a lot of things, they're contributing at the work also. Simultaneously, they have the thought process in their mind that, okay, I'm the very core person, or without me, the work will not go like that. No, nothing like that. Please remove all those clutters from your mind. No, it's not like that. Anybody can be replaced from you. So what happened, right? So you need to keep updating yourself. Why I'm telling you keep updating? Because today we are working on some other tool, guys. Tomorrow the tool will be updated, or you will be working on a different tool. So because this DevOps tools, everything will be replaced, because any further new good tool comes, right, immediately will get replaced. See, Jenkins was working. All this is people working happily. Now you see that people are started working on GitLab, GitOps. So does it not replacing Jenkins? Yes, it replaced. But still what happened, majority of the industries, 70 to 75% of the industries are still using Jenkins. But it doesn't mean that Jenkins cannot be replaced with some other tool. It will be replaced. Any better tool comes to the market, it will be replaced. Similarly, any better person comes, you will be replaced immediately. So, but you will not be replaced if you keep updating yourself with the current technology. With all the new technology, what are upcoming, you should be keep updating yourself. So definitely you will be in a job actually. So please make sure, so these jobs will keep you in industry for 10 to 15 years, next 10 to 15 years, but please make sure that you keep updating yourself. Never stop learning. Clear, guys?
Yes, sir.
So, Fine. So guys, what I would Rajesh suggest you now that please we will not continue further because it's almost 1.5 hour class. So if I start, because our main agenda was that we need to learn about what are the basic, essential things which are required for the DevOps on cloud, right? Or what are the foundational things which you need to know. So I was supposed to cover that one actually, but because of these things, right, like it took some time for us. But what we're going to do today, today evening, we are going to again, we can join for the next session. So what I'm thinking that now it is 11 actually. So we can have a session today at 7 p.m. Is it fine for you all? 7 or 6 p.m. evening. So I need a 1.5 hour class again for starting our DevOps foundational, right? So why we have to learn DevOps, right? What are the core things which a DevOps engineer need? Like that, we start understanding about what are the basic aspect where every DevOps engineer should know. So we need to start the journey from there, right? And what is the necessity of having a DevOps engineer? Or what are the roles and responsibilities he plays, right? Those things and all we need to start, and we need to even start or understand about our application architecture and everything. So that would be the flow of learning or getting into the DevOps actually. Sure, guys. So yeah, so we can wind up the session. So let me know if you have any questions, or else we can wind up. So today evening, guys, shall we meet at 7 p.m.? Is it fine for you all?
Yes,
7
sir.
to 8.
Yes, sir. Yeah, sir. It's fine.
Yes.
7.
So guys, okay, 7. Oh, thank you. Thanks for confirming, sir. Guys, did you like the sessions, today's session? Was it
Yeah.
for you all?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
very nice.
Absolutely.
His cell phone.
Sure. Okay. Thank
Yeah,
you.
hi, sir. Sorry for interruption.
Good.
Yeah, this is Arshita.
Sorry.
Arshita, sir.
Yes, madam. Tell me.
Yeah, I was listening from you from 9:30. You are explaining a very good, I mean, before that, I was taking this job now. I was in this mode, like how to read, what to read, what to. Now I'm feeling very comfortable because I was following from 3-4 months. So guys, I'm telling you, Rajesh sir is a very good, I don't know what to tell. He is a very good trainer. He is a very helpful person. Like when I'm getting a job, he was taking a night, even 11, 12, taking a classes, like a project classes. So many things helped me a lot. I got a job because of Rajesh sir only. So
No, it's all. I will say it's all your hard work, guys. Actually, I'm only sharing knowledge. I'm always there to learn and teach. Learn from you and teach. That's all. My job is to just learn and teach others. But getting a job and everything is all your effort. So you all have to put your own effort.
Because no one will give this type of tips, sir. Everyone will teach something, but no one will give this brief introduction of the environment of this company. After I listen all this your project videos and all, now I'm getting okay. Rajesh sir said this. Okay, yeah. You said Terraform, AWS, everything, whatever he said. No, guys, Rajesh sir, everything is important. Everything is not telling any lie. Is not telling any fake answer. He's telling whatever is going on because I'm experienced that, and this is the very good lecture. Again, I I joined. Let sorry for that.
Sure,
So yeah, if you follow, if you remember all these points in your mind, you can clear. I think.
Yeah, definitely. So we'll bring up on a lot of other things because this foundation class, guys, I will be I will be coming across with explaining about the process also, like what are the processes which are used in industry, right? And majorly many of the organizations are using agile process also. So I will come across with not very in detail. I'm not going in detail. Some fundamental things you should know about the process also. So that is also very important because when you go for an interview, right, they will not ask anything on the process, but the way you explain the things, right, they'll get to know, okay, he is following this process. Okay, he knows about, they will get to know about that. So you should be very good in that also. It means whenever you are following some process, right, you should be able to, answer in that way itself, what are the process which is followed in your industry or across the organization, right? Agile is one of such process actually. So those things also will, it will parallelly come when I start explaining, right? Things will keep coming in that also, that where I will be introducing about the process also. Clear? So guys, okay, fine guys. So any other questions? If you don't have, we can wind up. Sure. Fine. Thank you all guys. Thanks for joining. Let me stop my recording.
Yeah, thank you all.